चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम। हरे कृष्णा प्रभुजी and Mataji. Welcome to this morning Mangalarti program. And yesterday we discussed a few things about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we discussed the first part of Siskastam's first verse. And today we are going to continue the
Prabhuji,
discussion.
little volume need to be high. Audio is little. Maybe you have to sit closer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I am on the maximum volume, so can I request you please check your volume? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, yesterday we discussed a few things about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we discussed the first bit of the first verse of the Siskastam, which is spoken by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the background, I mentioned that the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavata. Girdhari Prabhu, can I request you to please mute everybody? Prabhu, can I request you to please mute everybody except me?
Yeah, Prabhu, actually, I don't know. Somewhere, who is that? I'm not able to find. Just I'll try.
This Anita Mataji. So, the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavata, and Girdhari Prabhu, I think you need to mute yourself also. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Girdhari Prabhu, can you please mute yourself and Anita Mataji?
I am on mute only, Prabhu. I don't know why you're saying it's on mute.
Hare Krishna. So Chaitanya Charitamrita has got three parts: Adi Lila, Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and Ant Lila. And Sikshashtam has been given in the last chapter of the Ant Lila. And these 8 verses have not been spoken linearly, means one after another. There is a verse on the Sikshashtam, and after that verse, there are a few verses where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that verse, then another verse, second verse, then third verse, and the fourth verse. That's how the Sikshashtam comes in. And Sikshashtam means the instructions. Shiksha means instruction or teaching. Ashtaka means 8. So the Sikshashtam means 8 teachings. But these teachings are different than different in the manner, the way Lord Krishna spoke to Arjuna. When Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, there was an audience. Somebody was standing in front of Krishna. Similarly, Shukadeva Goswami spoke, there was some audience. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke these 8 verses, there was no audience. He was speaking these verses to himself in a very deep absorption in Krishna. So through these 8 verses, he has delivered a number of messages for us, and we will go through those messages what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. And before we start further, I will recite the verse, the first verse of the Shikshashtam from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I will read the equivalents and the translation also. Chetudapanamarjanam bhavamaha davagani nirvapam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandambudhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्. Can anyone devotee read the equivalents and the translation?
Hare Krishna. Cheta, of the heart. Darpana, the mirror. Marjanam, cleansing. Bhava, of material existence. Mahadavagni, the blazing forest fire. Nirvapanam, extinguishing. Shreya, of good fortune. Kairava, the white lotus. Chandrika, the moonshine. Vitaranam, spreading. Vidya, of all education. Vadhu, wife. Jivanam, the life. Ananda, of bliss. Ambudhi, the ocean. Vardhanam, increasing, Pratipadam, at every step, Purnamrita, of the full nectar, Aswadanam, giving a taste, Sarva, for everyone, Atma Sanapam, bathing of the self, Param, transcendental, Vijayate, let there be victory, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, of congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. The chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all rejection. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste fully nectar at every step. Purport by Divine Grace Prabhupada. This is the first verse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Siddhartha. The other 7 verses are found in texts 16, 21, 29, 32, 36, 39, 46. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
So in this verse, there are 7 things. on which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spoken, and those 7 things glorifies the Sankirtana. And yesterday we discussed the first thing, Cheto Darpana Marjana. Cheta means our consciousness, Darpana means a mirror, and Marjana means cleansing. So the first effect of chanting the holy name, or the first effect of the Sankirtana, is that it cleanses the dust which has accumulated on our consciousness over the millions of years. And when we discussed the meaning of dust, it means the attachment to the material, attachment to the matter. And we discussed that currently our consciousness is a material consciousness. Although it is pure, but since it is in touch with a lot of material things, material objects, material people, it has become very much material. So once we clean the dust, then we can see our original consciousness. Like if the mirror is covered with the dust, we are not able to see our face. But as we start cleaning the mirror, the more and more we clean, the more and more we can see our own face. And we discussed that the cleansing process, marjana means a cleansing. So the cleansing process is very subtle. Subtle means the cleansing is happening, but we cannot see it. And we discussed one example that if we keep a stone under the flow of water under a tap, and the water keeps pouring on the stone, after some time, we will see the stone has started reducing in the size. वो पत्थर घिसना शुरू हो जाता है. And if you keep the stone under water for a very, very long time, then you may see there is even a hole also in the stone. So similarly, when we keep chanting the holy name, we keep engaging ourselves in Sankirtana, our consciousness keeps getting cleansed and cleansed. And the one thing is that effect is subtle, as we discussed, and second thing is that to clean our consciousness, we need something which is very subtle, because consciousness is very subtle. We cannot see the consciousness. So if I want to clean the consciousness with some detergent soap, some other cleaning chemicals, we won't be able to clean our consciousness. So to clean the consciousness, we need something very subtle. And the most subtle thing in this material existence is the sound. So when we do the Sankirtana, then Sankirtana produces a sound, and that sound helps cleansing our consciousness. And we discussed a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, that's in the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukdev Goswami says, Sankirti Mano, Bhagwan Ananta Shutanu Bhavo Vesanam Hi Pumsam, Pravishya Chittam. That if we constantly hear and chant the holy name, then the sound vibration, Pravishya Chittam, the sound vibration enters into our mind or consciousness, and it cleanses all the Vyasanam.
Prabhuji, we are not able to hear you.
We can hear
Hare
Prabhu. We can hear Prabhu. Girivardhari Prabhu, we can hear.
Okay.
So this is the first part of the Sikshashtam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Now the second thing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So Bhava means samsar, this material world. Maha means great. Dava means forest. Agni means fire. Nirvapana means extinguishing. So the second effect of Sankirtana is that it extinguishes the great forest fire of material existence. Now, the Davagni, we know the forest fire. When there is a fire in the forest, it's very huge. It cannot be controlled by any human effort unless there is a very heavy rain. The fire will keep going on. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Mahadavagni. The forest fire itself is very great. It's uncontrollable. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has added one word Maha before Davagni to emphasize the point that the fire of material existence, or Bhava means the birth and death. It's like a forest fire. Like there is a fire in the forest, we do not know what is the reason of the fire. When did it start? When did it start? Where did it start? Right? So we do not know the root cause of the fire. So similarly, in our case, we do not know since when we have been suffering into this fire of birth and death. And Nirvapanam, that Sankirtana, it extinguishes the fire of this birth and death, or the great fire of the Bhava. And as I mentioned, Bhava means this material world. Now, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Nirvapanam, extinguishes, it has two meanings. One meaning is that we get liberation after we leave the body and go to the Golok Dham. That's the first meaning. And once we go to Golok Dham, we don't come back and there is no more birth and death. And the second meaning of Nirvapanam means that although you are in the mid of miseries, but still you don't suffer from those miseries. You are in the mid of miseries, but still you don't feel the pain of those miseries. Now, for example, in the summer time, it's very hot when you're in the sun. But as soon as you come inside and get in touch with AC, then you don't feel the heat of the sun. So the heat of the sun is there, but still we do not feel the heat because we have got in touch with something which can counteract the heat of the sun. If I am in the mid of the flooded river, then I am very much worried. A lot of fear that any moment I can die. I can drown in the river. But if I see a boat in the river and somehow I am able to get into that boat, then although I am in the mid of the flooded river, but I don't feel the sufferings of another person who is in the river but without a boat. So this is our situation, that we are in the material world. The nature of the material world is Dukhalayam. No, it is the house of the miseries. Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. It's not house of the miseries. It's an ocean of the miseries. Right? Now, when we look at our scriptures, we find interesting thing that Krishna has given us several promises. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, I will deliver you from all the sins. Yogshema Mahamyam, that I will carry what you lack and I will preserve what you have. If I leave my body while remembering Krishna, then I will go to Krishna's Loka. There is no doubt about it. So Krishna has mentioned a lot of the things or a lot of the benefits or the fruits of engaging ourselves in Krishna service. But among all those fruits, Krishna has not said anywhere that if you come and take my shelter, if you surrender unto me, you will be free from miseries. So when we go and take the shelter of Krishna, we surrender unto Krishna, does not mean we will be free from the miseries. If at all we read that if we take the shelter of Krishna, we will be free from miseries, it means that we will be free from the sufferings of those miseries. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, when there is a conversation between Lord Kapila and Devhuti, there is a verse where Lord Kapila says, Mad ashraya katha mrishta shanvanti kathayanti cha tapanti vividhas tapa naitan mad gata chetasaha. Now, mad gata chetasaha. Cheta means cheto darpana marjanam, what we read just now. So cheta means consciousness. Mad gata means consciousness which has taken the shelter of the Lord. Mad gata chetasaha. And tapanti vividhas tapa. Now, vividhas means various, and tapa means miseries. In this material world, we know there are innumerable miseries, right? So, the Kapil Dev says that if we take the shelter of Ashraya Katha, if we take the shelter of Krishna Katha, what will happen? That tapanti vividhas tapa naita. Naita means not. And not has been used in the context of various miseries. And Srila Prabhupada translates it, and Srila Prabhupada says that the devotees who take the shelter of Krishna Katha do not suffer from the miseries. Tapanti means inflict suffering. So the meaning is that when we take the shelter of the holy name, when we engage ourselves in the Sankirtana, we should not have the feeling that this will free us from the miseries. Rather, the Sankirtana help us to not to feel the effect of the miseries. And the degree to which we have the absorption in Krishna, in the same degree, we will not feel the sufferings of the miseries. हमारे दुख तो होंगे, लेकिन वो दुखों के कारण हमको कुछ परेशानी चिंता नहीं होगा. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he was such a great devotee, Mahabhagavata. We can't imagine how much absorption he had in Krishna. Such a great devotee, but still he was inflicted with so many miseries. But since he had an intense absorption in Krishna, he did not feel the effect of those miseries. And as we can see, Prabhupada is displaying that sadhus do not suffer from material miseries. So the point I'm trying to emphasize that when we say Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, that it extinguishes the fire. So miseries are also compared like a fire. So extinguishing the fire of miseries does not mean our miseries will come to an end. Rather, it means the miseries will be there, but we will not feel the effect of those miseries to the extent we have the absorption in Krishna. And as I mentioned, that Krishna talks about so many things when it comes to taking his shelter, surrendering unto him. But Krishna does not say that if you go and take his shelter, you will be free from miseries. Although Krishna can relieve us from the miseries. Chaturveda bhajante mam, jana sukrati narjana, arto jigyasur artharthi. So Krishna says, okay, if you are in distress, come to me, I will give you the relief from the distress. But interestingly, Krishna does not call such person the devotees. Krishna says sukratino, that okay, you are the pious soul. But who is the devotee? Krishna says after 2 verses, Ek bhaktir visishyate. That person who is engaged just in the devotion service, right? Then he is very dear to me. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that the devotees, they take shelter unto him, not to be free from the miseries, but to be free from the cycle of birth and death. Jara maran mokshaya ma mashritya payantiti. So Jara maran mokshaya, the people who desire to be free from the cycle of birth and death, which is the cause of all our miseries, those kind of people, they take my shelter, mad ashraya. So when we go and take the shelter of Krishna, we should remember that we are taking the shelter of Krishna. We are taking the shelter of the holy name. We are taking the shelter of Sankirtana, not to be free from miseries, but rather to be free from the cycle of birth and death, which is the cause of all the miseries. So this is the second point, that Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Now the third point, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Shreya means the most beneficial thing. Kairava means a special type of lotus flower. Chandrika means moonlight. And Vitaran means spreading. And let's talk about the Kairav and Chandrika. So Kairav is a very special type of lotus flower which blossoms in the night. Generally the flowers, they blossom in the daylight. But Kairav is a very special flower which blossoms only in the night. And how does it blossom? It blossoms when it gets the moonlight. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Sankirtana is like a Chandrika. It's like a moonlight. And it blossoms the Kairav. It blossoms our consciousness, which has been compared like a Kairav, the lotus flower. And interestingly, here one thing we note, that to blossom our consciousness, we don't need Krishna. Here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not say their consciousness will blossom if you get in touch with Krishna. Like to blossom the Karo lotus, the moon will not come directly. Rather, the moon will throw its light, and which is non-different than the moon. So, with this point, Kairav Chandrika, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us that the Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna's name is non-different. And when we say Kairav Chandrika blossom, Kairav Chandrika means it blossoms our consciousness. So what does it mean? Blossom our consciousness means that currently it is away from Krishna. Although Krishna is in our heart, but still it cannot feel, it cannot experience the presence of Krishna. It is in a sleeping stage, like a lotus flower. Until it gets the moonlight, it will stay, it will look like it's a dead. It doesn't look beautiful. So similarly, our consciousness doesn't look beautiful, or it doesn't give the pleasure to us or even to others until it gets the moonlight in the form of Sankirtana, in the form of the sound of the holy name. Right? And Shreya means something which is beneficial for us in the long run. And many times in the class we have talked about the prayer also, that there are two things, Shreya and prayer. Shreya means something which is beneficial for us in the long run, and prayer means something which is beneficial for us in the short run. So when when Arjuna is speaking to Krishna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so Arjuna asked Krishna that Nishchitam, something like that, Shreya Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme, that please tell me decisively what is Shreya for me, what is ultimately good for me. Generally, in the material world, we have the tendency to assume or to consider material prosperity as a Shreya, as ultimate beneficial things for us. But that's not the Shreya. There is one very nice devotee of Maharajana, Gaur Krishna Maharajana, and he was a sannyasi disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. So he says that the Shreya means something which is without money. Shreya means something where money is not involved. You cannot buy from money. Shreya means something which does not result in the miseries. And Shreya means something by which our anxiety, वो कहते हैं छटपटाहट, कि जो हमारे सांसारिक सुख भोगने की छटपटाहट है वो भी खत्म हो जाए हमारे. So that is the ultimate Shreya for us. So now we can look at the things what we have got, and if we look at the material things are not the ultimate Shreya for us. The more and more we have the material possessions, the more and more they cause the bondage to the material world, unless we know how to keep ourselves detached from them and how to become like a lotus flower, which is very difficult. And in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Nav Yogendras are speaking to Nimi Maharaj, and when Karbhajan Muni starts speaking, and he mentions about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then after that, he glorifies the Sankirtana. And while glorifying Sankirtana, he recites a couple of verses, and those are very beautiful verses, and those emphasize the same point what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking here. And these two verses are 11.5.36 and 37. So Karbhajan Muni says, Kalim Sabha Jayanti Arya Gunagya Sara Bhaginah Yatra Sankirtanai Naiva Sarva Swartho Abhilabhyate. So कहते हैं कि यत्र संकीर्तन नैव सर्व स्वार्थो अभिलभ्यते, कि जहां पर संकीर्तन है, संकीर्तन एव मीन्स डेफिनेटली, कि wherever there is a sankirtana, then abhilabhyate. Abhilabhyate means achieved. And what is achieved? Sarva artha. Not sarva artha, swa artha hai. And swa artha means स्वार्थ. हमारे जितने स्वार्थ हैं वो सारे स्वार्थ सिद्ध हो जाते हैं किससे? संकीर्तना करने से. लेकिन यहाँ पे स्वार्थ का अर्थ हमको भौतिक, we should not take स्वार्थ in the context of the material desires or the material benefits. Here स्वार्थ means a parmarth, the supreme beneficial things. And then Karbhajan Muni says, Nahi atah parmo labho dehinam ramyatam iha yato vindeta parmam shanti nasyati sam sratihi. So he says, Nahi atah parmo labho dehinam ramyatam iha. Dehitam ramyatam iha means the living entities like us who are wandering in this material world. Nahi atah parmo labho. He is concluding that therefore there is nothing more beneficial than he. Means certainly. And atah, it means, then this. Atah refers to the Sankirtana word which has been referred in the previous verse. So the point I want to emphasize from these two verses is that what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has spoken is not something which is different than what is given in our scriptures, particularly the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Sankirtana is the ultimately beneficial things for everybody. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, it means the Sankirtana is the most beneficial things to blossom our consciousness or to clean our consciousness. And how does it clean our consciousness? We cannot see it, but it happens then. Like when the moon starts throwing its moonlight on the lotus. In the beginning, we don't see the lotus is blossoming. But if we keep watching it, after some time, we see the lotus has blossomed. So similarly, we have to keep engaging ourselves in Sankirtana, and then we will see that our consciousness has blossomed, means it has got connected with Krishna. So that is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. Now the fourth thing is Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Sankirtana is Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Vidya means knowledge, Vadhu means bride, and Jivana means life. Now Vidya has got two meanings. The very simple meaning is knowledge. But in our scriptures, the bhakti has been described, or bhakti has been said as Vidya. विद्या का एक दूसरा अर्थ होता है भक्ति. रामानंद राय प्रभु चैतन्य चरितमृतम में कहते हैं कृष्ण भक्ति बिना विद्या नहीं आर. कृष्ण भक्ति बिना विद्या नहीं आर. कि without Krishna there is no knowledge. Or it means somebody may claim himself to be a BCom, MCom, PhD, CA, engineer, doctor, whatever it is. He may claim to be very, very knowledgeable. But according to scriptures, that's not ultimate Vidya. The ultimate Vidya means the Vidya, the knowledge, after which there is nothing more to be known. There is nothing more to be learned. So here the Vidya means Bhakti. And Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, that it is the life of the Bhakti. Or Sankirtana is the life of Bhakti. In our devotional life, we do so many things. So many devotion service we do. But the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing the point that Sankirtana is the life of our devotional service. Is the life of the devotion, Sankirtana. And again, we should not forget the point, what we discussed yesterday, that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about Sankirtana, not the Kirtan. Although we do the Kirtan every day, but the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing the benefit of Sankirtana. Sankirtana means we come together and hear and chant. That's a Sankirtana. So Sankirtana is the life of the devotion. Brahman Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Jeev. Bhakti Lata Paye Krishna Lata Beej. That millions of living entities are wandering in this world, and very few are the fortunate who get Bhakti Lata Beej. Very few who get the seed of devotion service. And once they get the seed of devotion service, how the seed of devotion service fructifies. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Shravana Jal Kare Sinchana. That once we get the seed of devotion, we have to water it. But how do we water it? By Shravana, by hearing it. And we know that if we have the seed and if we don't water it, it will die. So that means water is the life of the seed. So similarly, if we don't water our devotion service, if we don't have the water of the Kirtan in our devotion life, then our devotion life will not continue for a long time. It will start dying slowly, slowly. And as we know, without water, the things starts becoming dry and dry. Rukas, cheese mein, without water, there is no juice. There is no taste, there is no nectar. So similarly, without Sankirtana, one may try to do any amount of devotion service, sitting alone, right? But it will not have as much effect as it will have when you do it in the congregation, when you do it in the mid of the devotees. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, towards the end of his life, if you see, he was associating with the devotees. In the Madhya Leela, we see he has been preaching to the devotees, he is preaching to the non-devotees. He delivered so many messages, delivered so many teachings, right? So many instructions. But in the Anta Leela, we see that he is no more preaching, no more mixing with the non-devotees, right? He is simply associating with the devotees and conversion with them. He is hearing from them. So the point is that Sankirtana, the association of the devotees, is not important not only for us, but even for the Lord also. Even the Lord relishes the association of the devotees. So we should not think any point of time that now I don't need the association of the devotees. Let me sit in the house and chant, or this is a waste of time in going to the program, attending this program, and I've got so many other priorities. Our devotion service will start dying slowly, and we will never know that how it has died without we realized it. The way I mentioned, I give you the example, you keep pouring the water on the stone will change. We don't know how it changed. Similarly, we stop associating the devotees, we stop coming to the programs, right? Don't have the congregation, right? Don't attend these type programs. Then slowly, the things will stop. No more devotion service, no more devotee, right? So that's what we have to remember. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. That Sankirtana, Jivanam means it's a life of bhakti. It's a life of bhakti. Yonta pravishya mama vacham imam prasutta, right? That as soon as we have the touch of the Krishna and the touch in the form of the sound vibration, then we become enlightened. And when we talk about bhakti means, when we talk about Vidya, it means bhakti. And also it means the knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of what? Knowledge of how to serve Krishna. Knowledge of what to do, what not to do. In our material life, we always struggle what to do, what not to do. Right? Similarly, in the spiritual life also, we struggle what to do, what not to do. So in this context, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that a devotee may be perplexed, but a devotee is never discouraged. A devotee may be perplexed, but a devotee is never discouraged. So perplexed means we do not know what to do or not to do. क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना, कुछ भी मालूम. That's a situation of being perplexed. Right? Arjuna was perplexed in the beginning, right? मालूम नहीं क्या करना है, नहीं करना उसको, युद्ध करना है, नहीं करना, कुछ नहीं मालूम उसको. But Srila Prabhupada said devotee is never discouraged. Devotee will never say, I do not want to do anything. I do not want to do anything. We should not come to that stage. So in the devotional life also, we should remember that many times we have the situation where we do not know what to do, not to do. We are perplexed. And we may come to a stage where we are discouraged. And then we say that, okay, I will not do anything else. By this chanting, by these programs, nothing is happening, right? Still I am suffering, or my sufferings have become even more. So why we are feeling those sufferings? Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing, because we are not taking the shelter of Sankirtana. If we don't follow the process, nothing will work. You cannot make even the tea and coffee if you don't follow the process. So if you want to, not you, if we want to be free from the miseries means, if we want that I am in the middle of the miseries and I should not feel the pain of the miseries, then we should follow the process. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us the process. And the process is Sankirtana. So follow the process. Don't blame anything else. Don't blame anything. Don't blame anybody. Don't blame Kirtana. Don't blame Krishna. Don't blame the congregation. Just blame ourselves, that we are not following the process, and that's why we are in the miserable condition. So Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Sankirtana is the life of our devotion. It saves us from being in a perplexed situation. It saves us from being discouraged. And now Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is comparing bhakti as a vadhu, as a bride. So why he is comparing bhakti with vadhu? With this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to tell us that if by Krishna's and Guru's mercy we get bhakti, right, then our nature should be like a bride. Vadhu का अर्थ होता है दुल्हन. If we are a devotee, if we have the touch of Sankirtana, then we will manifest the qualities of a bride, of a chaste bride. जो एक घर में आदर्श बहू होती है, वधू होती है, उसका स्वभाव कैसा होता है? An ideal bride would be very soft spoken, मधुर भाषणी हुई है, very good in pleasing everybody, सर्वभूतानुरंजन. And one more thing, that Atmagopan Chestamai, that the Vadhu always tries to cover herself. वो जो अभी भी ट्रेडिशन इंडिया के अंदर, the chaste bride, they always cover their head, cover to an extent that nobody can see the face. Not in our Hindu culture, even other culture we see the women have the veil on the entire face. So that's the nature of a Vadhu. So in the context of devotion and in our context, it means that we don't show our devotion. We don't go and bragging, telling others that I am chanting these many rounds, I am doing this, I am donating this much, blah, blah, right? So many things, whatever we do in the devotion life, go and show others. We try to cover all those things very humbly, without any pride. as a chaste bride would do. So that's the meaning of Vadhu. So now we understand Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Vidya means devotion, right? Vadhu means the bhakti is like a devotion. Bhakti is like a bride. And if we have the devotion, then we should exhibit the symptoms of a bride. And bhakti is the life of our devotion, our devotional life. So that's our fourth point here. Now the fifth point is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Sankirtana increases the ocean of bliss. Anand means bliss, Ambudhi means ocean, Vardhana means increases. In this material world, everybody is hankering after Anand. हम हर एक चीज में आनंद ढूंढने का प्रयास करते हैं. कोई अच्छा घर लेंगे, गाड़ी लेंगे, नौकरी होएगा, शादी होएगा, right? Everywhere we are hankering for Anand, 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 Anand. But hankering never stops. Because we are trying to find the Anand in something in which there is no Anand. Right? जिसके अंदर कोई जूस ही नहीं है, चर्वित चर्वणानाम. We are chewing something which has already been chewed. The juice has already been taken out. So if you chew something in which there is no juice, where is the Anand then? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Sankirtana. If you do the Sankirtana, what happens? Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Anand means bliss, Ambudhi means ocean, Vardhana means increases. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says it increases the ocean of the bliss for which we have always been anchoring. Now interestingly, the ocean, if we say the water in the ocean is increasing, doesn't make very sense, right? Because generally the water in the ocean remains as it is, right? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the spiritual world, everything is possible. If we remain in the association of the devotees, Sankirtana means association of the devotees, hearing and chanting together, then we will find ourselves in the mid of the ocean of the bliss, which will keep ever increasing. Which will keep ever increasing. So we have to, when we are hankering for Anand, when we are hankering for the bliss, we should remember that the ultimate bliss, which is never ending, is in the Sankirtana, is in the association of devotees. And Dhruv Maharaj also says, Bhakti Muhu Pravatam Tavime Prasangva. That when I'm in the middle of the devotees, so then I feel as if I'm in the ocean of bliss. So anyway, that's the fifth point, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. And then the sixth point is Purnamrita Swadanam Pratipadam. Purna means perfect, Amrit means nectar, Swadana means taste, and Pratipada means every step. Prati means every, and Pada means step. Now, Amrita we know. Amrita means you drink something by which you don't desire to drink anything else, and you become immortal. no more miseries. So Amrita itself is very powerful. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Purna Amrita hai, perfect nectar hai. So what is a perfect nectar hai? So the perfect nectar means something which always remain a nectar in the beginning, in the middle, and even in the end also. In the Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, when Lord Krishna is describing the happiness, the three kinds of happiness. So Krishna talks about the happiness in the mode of goodness, happiness in the passion, happiness in the mode of passion, happiness in the mode of ignorance. So Krishna says the happiness in the mode of happiness, which is in the mode of passion and goodness. How do we differentiate it? So there is a one happiness which tastes nectar in the beginning, right? But at the end, it is a poison. And there is another happiness which tastes a poison in the beginning, but eventually it turns out to be a nectar. So the happiness which tastes nectar in the beginning, but eventually it turns out to be poison, that's a happiness in the mode of passion. And the happiness which tastes poison in the beginning, but tastes nectar at the end, is the happiness in the mode of goodness. So here we see that the nectar is changing, right? The nectar we get by doing a lot of material things, those things may be even in the mode of goodness. But there's nothing in the material world which you do and which will give you nectar in the beginning, in the middle, and even in the end also. But the Sankirtana is something where there is a nectar in the beginning, in the middle, and even in the end. That's one meaning of Purna Amrita. And another meaning of Purna is, we know the verse Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnameva Vashishyate. The Purna means something which is always complete. 1 plus 1 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 1. Ki Purna means something in which to which you cannot add anything, and Purna means something from which you take out and still it remains Purna. अगर समुद्र में से एक लोटा पानी निकाल लें तो हम ये नहीं बोलेंगे समुद्र कम हो गया है. It is immeasurable water. So taking out one small cup of water doesn't affect the ocean. So the ocean is complete. So Purnamrita Swadanam Pratipadam. At every step we taste. Swadanam means every step we can taste the perfect nectar. This means that we do not have to chant full Krishna. Even if I chant just a Kriya, then I get the same nectar as I get when I chant Krishna. That's the meaning of Pratipadam. I don't have to chant full Rama. If I chant Ra, I get the same nectar as I get when I chant Rama. That's the meaning of Purnamrita. And even Maharaj used to tell us that one verse of the Bhagavatam is entire Bhagavatam. Just by chanting one verse with emotions, you can experience the same nectar what you will experience by reciting the whole Bhagavatam. And not the one verse, just one word of the verse will give you the same nectar what you will get by reciting the full verse. That's the meaning of Prati Padam. In case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Puri, he would visit Lord Jagannath every day morning. But during the whole day, he won't be able to recite even one time Jagannath. Why? Because as soon as he utters Ja, he would go into ecstasy. Because the word Ja was giving him the full nectar. We shouldn't say giving him the full nectar, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is he's a source of the nectar. But he wanted to demonstrate to us that how can we taste the nectar of Sankirtana at every step. Every step we should not take in the sense of walking in. Here, every step means in each and every alphabet of the holy name. So he would be in front of Lord Jagannath from morning till night, but won't be able to chant even one time Jagannath, because he was able to relish the nectar of each and every syllable which is included in the Lord's holy name. And the last thing, the seventh thing, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions about Sankirtana is Sarva Atma Snapanam. Sarva means for everybody, and Atma Snapanam. Atma means self, or means the soul. Snapana means bathing in. So Sankirtana is the nectar which bathes each and every soul in. Or anybody who comes in the association of the devotees, anybody who comes and does the chanting and hearing in the congregation of the devotees, then soon he would find, he or she would find that she is being bathed in the nectar which is generated from the sound vibration of the holy name. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says finally, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And Srila Prabhupada says, let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Let there be victory. Jai Ghosh hone do. Imagine, हमने कभी देखा है मूवी में भी कि जब एक बहुत ज्यादा शक्तिशाली सेनापति, imagine there is a very powerful commander, he sets off for a battle, he leaves the fort to fight a battle. Right? So the soldiers around him, what they say, कि सेनापति की जय हो, सेनापति की जय हो, right? सेनापति की जय हो. So same thing with us also. That we are always in the mid of fighting with the material energy. Whatever we see in this material world, always we are struggling to handle them. But we have to remember that there is a unlimitedly powerful commander, which is Sankirtana, who has the power to handle each and everything. Sarva Pratyaya Hetavena. Gajendra says in the Gajendra Moksha that Krishna is the solution to all the doubts, all the problems. So we have a lot of struggle in the material world. And one of the reasons is that we don't attach ourselves to the Sankirtana. And as soon as we attach ourselves to the Sankirtana, then we should remember we are attaching ourselves to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he takes the charge of fighting with everybody around him. Like the soldiers, who are accompanied by a very powerful commander, will always remain encouraged as long as the powerful commander is there. They do not have any fear. So as long as we are surrounded by Sankirtana, then we should have the firm faith that Sankirtana is a very powerful commander, and that has the power to handle everything. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was reciting these verses, as I mentioned yesterday, that he was in a very deep absorption of Krishna, which we can't imagine. And since he was deeply absorbed in Krishna, he would always experience the emotions. In our case, we are deeply absorbed in the material things. That's why we do not experience any emotion. Dhritarashtra, we can understand this with an example. Dhritarashtra, he was very much absorbed in his affection for Duryodhana. Right? He was very much attached to Duryodhana. That's why he could not experience any emotions when the Pandavas were cheated, they were set onto the house of fire, they were given the poison, or even when the Draupadi was stripped of them, right? He did not have any emotions for them. Why? Because his attachment was for his son. So he could not experience any emotion for the Pandavas who were the devotees of Krishna. So with this example, we can understand that since we have a very deep attachment to the material things, the things around us, we do not experience any emotions when we chant Hare Krishna. As Bhagavatam says, no, if the heart does not melt by chanting the holy name, it's a steel frame heart. So our heart is like a steel frame heart, which does not melt, means it does not experience any emotions. Do we experience any emotions when we chant Hare Krishna? Forget experiencing emotions when we chant Hare Krishna, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing, chanting by just one syllable. So we have been chanting for so many years. Still no emotions. Why? Because we have a deep attachment to the material things. Bhakti pareshanu bhavo virakti anyatra. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that the three things happen together. What is that? Devotion, pareshanu bhavo. Para means Krishna. Para Isha. Anubhava means emotions. And virakti means detachment from the matter. Virakti anyatra. Anyatra means कोई नहीं, किसी भी चीज से अटैचमेंट नहीं चाहिए हमको. Right? Virakti anyatra. When we are free from attachment to each and everything and perform the devotion service, then we can experience the emotions. But again, we have to remember that we do not have to create the emotions artificially. Once a devotee was standing in the temple in front of Krishna Balaram deities and shedding the tears. Prabhupada came and tapped his back. He said, work now, samadhi later. He said, go and do some seva and samadhi later. Because the shedding the tears and showing others that I have the emotions for Krishna, but at the same time maintaining the attachment to so many material things, right, means those emotions are not the real emotions. Those emotions will not last for a very long time. So better stay engaged in serving Krishna, right, according to our capacity as much as we can do, and leave the rest on Krishna, and he will take care. So Hare Krishna, Prabhujan Mataji, thank you so much for attending this morning class on the 6th first verse. Now we have a few minutes. Now I request the devotees to come forward very quickly with any questions, comments, or realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, means, this thing is very true. I'm just, when you made a statement and I reflected back that when we chant the holy name, and even if, means, the way it helps in life is, you try to become more humble because you are getting attached to the Krishna and detaching from others. So this point is a real learning for me. Again, reflecting back. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for attending the program. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. What I learned is depending on the absorption you have in Lord Krishna, to the same degree, you won't feel the effect of the miseries and anxieties in your life.
Thank you,
And
Mataji.
also that the seed of devotion is watered by Sankirtan process.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, wonderful class, Prabhuji, and we could take the maximum notes, Prabhuji, and the flow was so good. Here, the point I can tell now, relate is that if we take the shelter of Krishna, we will be free from the suffering of miseries, because miseries will be keep on coming. But once we take shelter of Krishna, the suffering will be less. And example given of Prahlad Maharaj, because he was in intense absorption in Krishna, and he was not affected from the miseries, Prabhu. That because miseries will not be end, but the effects will be less.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Thank you very much for the class, Prabhuji. And I just remember you said Pravesha Chittam, the constant chanting and hear of Krishna's name and vibration of sound which enters the heart and awakens our consciousness. That's a very beautiful point. And also you said that although Krishna is in our heart, but as long as our consciousness is not beautiful and give pleasure to others, unless we have a form of Sankirtana movement with us. So thank you very much for the wonderful realization.
Thank you. So, Prabhu, Pravishya Chittam. Pravishya Chittam, it's not just the sound vibration, the holy name. The sound vibration, the holy name in the congregation, Prabhu. That's the meaning, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
So that is a different effect. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. As Manoj Prabhu said, Prabhuji, you highlighted the one Kairava Chandrikam. Our consciousness will not give bliss to us as well as others unless the moonlight of the sound of the holy name touches it. So this was a wonderful realization, Prabhuji. And also in the last you compared one beautiful example. We are deeply involved in the material anxiety. That is why we doesn't have any emotion. And you compared with Dhritarashtra. So it is very, very correlating to us, like we are a part of a steel frame. Our heart becomes a steel frame. That's why we are not experiencing anything. But thank you for all the details.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Yeah.
Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Actually,
Hare Krishna.
Anu Prabhu took my point. I would say like about the Kairava flower. It was so beautiful that when you said that the flower needs only the moonlight and not the moon. And similarly, because it was not bloomed before, just because of the moonlight it blooms. Similarly, our consciousness also blooms when we take the name of the Lord through Sankirtan. So there's one small clarification I would like to I need about the newly wed bride. You said the 2 points. One is Madhubhashan, she speaks very sweetly, like comparing to a devotee. And the second point was Atmabhushan Cheshtamatihi. So the devotee covers what?
Atma Gopan Cheshta Mai. Atma Gopan means Atma means self, Gopan means confidential. Cheshta Mai means endeavors.
Cheshtamai, okay.
Atma Gopan Cheshta Mai. So the newly wedded bride, always try to cover herself, Cheshta मतलब endeavors, कोशिश करती है.
Mhm. And so
That's
what
it.
does the devotee exactly cover, Prabhu? You were giving an
The devotion they do not show off their devotion.
okay. And also the last point was very beautiful about the when we are on the battlefield, the material energy and how the commander is the unlimitedly powerful. When there is an unlimitedly powerful commander, is comparing to the Sankirtana movement, and everything will be handled perfectly. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Babuji, धन्यवाद प्रणाम. Thank you for the nice कथा. So बाबूजी अभी जो सुचित्रा माता जी बोला जो मधु भाषम वो जो आपने बोला है आत्मा जो not showing the devotion to the others. So this is Babuji, is there any, this is the you are talking from any shloka, means I just missed that.
No, this is not the shloka. This is spoken by the this Gaur Krishna Gopal Maharajan, right? Because he is expert in reciting
Okay.
these verses.
Okay, thank you. And Prabhuji, आपका this another is a point is the Purna Amrita. So Purna Amrit means nectar, okay, but Purna Amrita you just nicely explained that it is filled with nectar at the beginning, end, and the middle. So when you started spoke that either it is Gita, Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita, any books of Srila Prabhupada. So whenever any points of time or any chapter you read, that is always the nectar from any part. So this is the same thing here, that the Sankirtan Jagga is just like in the beginning, middle, and at the end. And always it is a nectar.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. You explained Nirvapanam very nicely, Prabhuji. In that you told that when you are amidst the miseries also, but since we take shelter of Krishna, then the miseries will not will not affect us. And he also gave the example of 3:25 and 23, in which also he says that Mad Ashrayaha. So that was very nice, Prabhuji. Since we are connected to Krishna, our miseries may not affect us much. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yes. And the point we have to remember that by chanting, by performing devotion service, we don't be free from misery, sir. Right?
Yes.
हमारे दुखों से छुटकारा नहीं मिलेगा, हम दुखों के बीच में रहेंगे, लेकिन दुखों का हमारे ऊपर प्रभाव कम होएगा, and the degree of our surrender to Krishna.
Yeah, that example of the boat looking at the boat, that was very nice, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beginning was very good. Probably started with the forest fire. We do not know from where the fire is coming. It was a really good thing. And our suffering is basically to get away from the birth and death. That is a main process that we must know how to get away from. Not even actually Krishna. That we said that not even Krishna is required, but how to get away from this birth and death motion. That is the biggest thing we must know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, you nicely explained the meaning of Pratipadam, where you were saying that it will give the same nectar whether you chant Kri for Krishna. I mean, that is the partial form, and you are also telling that in that regard, like even one word of Srimad Bhagavatam has the same potency as Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Haribol. Prabhu, one point you made that to the degree of our absorption in Krishna's name, hearing, service, that extent we will be free from our suffering of miseries. Now, in our real term, in our day-to-day life, means normally we do whatever within our limitation. But when you say that degree of absorption, means what actually really practically means to be implemented in terms of improving the degree of absorption. That if you can just give us some more lights on this so that we can more understand for following them practically.
Prabhu, it's a very simple thing to say that if you want to have increased absorption in Krishna, that means you have to decrease your absorption in anything other than Krishna. Right? And now how to decrease our absorption in other things? We can do so many things, but nothing has to be done artificially. So in the beginning stage of devotion life or even later also, it's a very difficult to be completely detached from the things which we have around us. So what we can do, we can try to add Krishna to those things. We can try to see those things as Krishna's energy. We can try to see Krishna in the people with whom we are dealing. We can try to see Krishna in our family members to whom we are serving. So as soon as the Krishna is attached to anything, to any activity, any process, then the purification is there. And if we keep doing it, then at some point of time, although we will be dealing with the whole things, the whole material world, the whole material energy of Krishna, but that will not have any effect on us. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that we have to be like a lotus flower, that who is in the mid of the mud, but still the mud cannot touch the lotus flower. So all these things are easy to say, but difficult to practice. But it's we have to practice it, and nobody else will do for us. And the thing is that even if you find yourself unsuccessful, we find ourselves unsuccessful in detaching ourselves from the material energy, then still we should not get discouraged. Still, we should continue to perform the devotion service, right? Otherwise, we are not on the right path. Because as Prabhupada said, we may be perplexed, like currently what you mentioned, it's a perplexing situation, right? So perplexed, but never ever get discouraged, right? Okay, I won't do now this devotion service, I won't do these things. Yeah. That's how Prabhu I would like to explain it. I hope it helps.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Girvardhari Prabhu. I think it's 9 o'clock. So we should give Viram to Katha.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you very much. So nice realization. Just first verse of the Sikshashtakam, you have given so much of realizations and nectars you have given. It's really very, and that too, tomorrow being the Chaitanya Jayanti, the first verse itself, by meditating it, we all can welcome Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given so much in the 8 verses. So we hope to hear you from all the 8 verses also, like that, so that we can at least know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People do not know much about him, but through these verses, we have made us realize to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how he's given us Krishna in our life in a very simple and elaborate way. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And I all request the devotees, tomorrow evening we will start at 6:30 the program. We will send you the links and the message very soon. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Sindhu Eva cha Patitanam Pavanam